Disney World crowd levels are low, low, low. So where are you going to go with all the blame you need to show? Well, folks, what if we told you it's not the Imagineers, it's not Bob Iger, it's nobody at Disney. Who's to blame for low crowd levels? Poor people. No, really. Hello, folks. Welcome back to That Park Place, the YouTube channel that covers all the news that should be fun. And boy, do we have a fun video for you. We're never done bringing you the news. We've got Vash Sky and Jonas J. Campbell here to help us get through the blues that Disney is feeling. No, not Mr. Bluebird. He's not flying on their shoulder. Ladies and gentlemen, they got a poor problem. They got a poor people problem at Walt Disney World. Vash, show us the article, sir.
Absolutely. Here you go from Forbes. The rich helped U.S. theme park industry eke out lackluster summer. This by Suzanne Rowan Kelleher, if I'm not mistaken, right there.
Kelleher. But Vash, Jonas knows a little thing about this. Jonas, you're just so sneaky. You just found out what was going on behind the scenes. Jonas, tell the folks out there what you've discovered about this article.
At the moment that this is published, yes, the title is how we're reading it here. But if you read the status, they forgot to change the status on the tab. So at the top, it actually says, "Don't blame the rich for theme parks' lackluster summer."
So who would that mean needs to be blamed then, Jonas? What the original title, we believe, that they apparently thought, oh my gosh, we can't say that. Jonas, who is Forbes blaming today?
Oh, it's those poor folks, those middle class people that they aren't going to the theme parks like they should.
How dare you? How dare you make middle class wages, work all day, all live long night, and not go spend every single dime and dollar at Disney? How dare you, poor people? You're letting down Bob. He can't afford a hippo. He can't afford a third shower because of you and your stinking priorities taking care of your children. I can't believe it.
He can hardly afford that new luxury couch on his yacht. I mean, come on. We really have to come together in these hard times right now.
Well, if it wasn't for the rich, then Disney would be the poors, and we can't have them not able to go to the parks.
Gentlemen, to the article we go. Read it for us.
Absolutely. Top line. New data reveals lower and middle income Americans spent less at regional theme parks this summer, while affluent travelers spent more than before at pricier Disney and Universal destinations, revealing a premium fault line that has come to define the travel industry.
Pause. I would like to weigh in on this very quickly. Go back to the picture, Vash. It's a nice picture. See, that's Epic Universe. It's a good picture. We like Epic Universe. We like Universal. You know, we'd like to like Disney. They just sometimes make it difficult. And we love Forbes. Specifically, we love Caroline Reed and the other folks over there who do such a great job. But this article is pedunkus, okay? Here's the deal. Folks, how did they manage to get so much money out of fewer people? Hang with me just a moment. This is not that the rich people came in and saved the day, okay? Daddy Warbucks didn't come through the turnstiles at the Magic Kingdom and say, by golly, it's empty here. We're spending more. We're going to save this place. That is not what happened. What happened is that people who had vacations and reservations made 2 years ago showed up at Disney and said, good Lord, the hot dogs are $12. Good Lord, the water bottles are $4.50 and it's a 110-degree heat index. And they had to pay it because they're there with the family and the kids are there and they took it out. Listen, we've seen statistics before, guys. People now, it's not a small number. It's a huge number of people now going to Disney parks are doing so on credit. They're doing so. They're taking out loans. That's what's happening. It's not the rich. The rich are still going to Monaco, baby. They might not be going to Vegas, but they're going on their African safaris. It's the people who made the reservations a year ago, 2 years ago. They show up, the 5-year-old little girl, she wants a Dole Whip. Dole Whip's how much? You'll pay it because it's 100 degrees and the kid wants it and the castle's there and you're already on this trip. The problem is that in the long term, what does that do? Well, that family goes back home and says, you won't believe how much money we had to spend. It was already expensive. You won't believe what we spent once we were there. And that creates a negative feedback loop throughout the market. Disney achieving what they're achieving right now is a short-term success at a long-term tragedy for the business.
Right.
Absolutely. And to just put it in plain terms, if someone doesn't fully pay off their vacation, they're much less inclined to go ahead and plan the next one.
How about that?
Yes, I happen to agree with all of this. And here's the thing: Disney parks, at least, well, the experiences division, that is, reported as by the Walt Disney Company in their last earnings call, year over year, they said that it topped out at $9 billion, and that was a 13% increase over the prior year. How are they creating those revenue increases? Well, they're doing two things. One is they're reducing, I think, capital expenditures in order to keep that revenue or that operating income high. But also, too, I think, how they get that high revenue number is they are charging simply more for either the same or less. And that is how they're creating those big revenue increases, as Pro beautifully mentioned before. This is a short-term solution to a long-term problem, which is, the Disney is just not as compelling as it previously was, which is why they either have to discount it, significantly in order to get you in, and then once you are actually in, then they really jack up the prices with services like Lightning Lane, for example, or increases on food and beverage, merch, those kinds of things. So it's this this interesting thing that Disney's doing here to try to get as much revenue as possible and try to squeeze that stone for all the blood that it actually has.
Right. I'll give you an example.
If you guys could be so kind, share the screen. Go ahead, Jonas. I've got a screen share I want to put up on for the folks to see.
Yes.
Right. I had someone I knew that went during the Walcott version of Epcot. They went, and there was I think the Food and Wine Festival was going on at the time. Lots of expenditures on things like frushi, which is fruit sushi for those of you who don't speak weirdo. All kinds of booths in the tapas kind of things that are expensive every way down the pike. Got to see Spaceship Earth and was very disappointed at the strange iPads on the back of the ride. And they said to themselves, quite literally, I'm not going until something cool comes into this park. And the things that have been added into the park since then have not been enough to bring them back to Epcot because of the great expense of that day. So it's all very practical. If you go in and it's a concrete walk around a large lake and they just want to overcharge you for booze, then that's probably not enough to get mom and dad to say, ooh, we need to make that memory.
And you could say, Jonas, well, that Guardians coaster is pretty darn good. I mean, it's one of the best rides on the planet, right? Well, sure it is, ladies and gentlemen, at Epcot. But the problem is, you basically got to pay even more money to ride Guardians of the Galaxy Cosmic Rewind. Here's the article I was talking about. Rethinking 65 has this. Families are going into debt for Disney vacations. This came out last year, just about 1 year ago exactly, August of 2024. Now, prices at Disney parks have only gone up. I mean, they've just gone up. Now, the ticket prices have not dramatically risen. That's correct. But everything else, and they are nickel and diming. And guess what? These families, most of them plan this stuff out years in advance, at least a year in advance, to go to Disney. And so they're on the hook for it. When you have 45% of parents, that's families, by the way, if you want to know what that word means, 45%, almost half of families with kids younger than 18, by the way, we just usually call those kids. Sorry, 30-year-old guy living in your parents' basement. If you're doing that for the right reasons, maybe temporarily, but if you're doing it because your mom does your laundry, no, you're not a kid anymore. Here's the deal. Almost half of families with kids are going into debt to go to Disney, and that was before the prices got jacked up even more. Even more! That's crazy! Come on, don't be hazy about what's happening, folks. They're not mad because poor people stopped going to Disney. They're mad because the middle class doesn't want to become poor people going to Disney.
Right, and that statistic, I believe, comes from a Lending Tree report that we've covered here in the past. But the findings were quite devastating. They were quite significant, and perhaps Disney is learning this lesson in some regard, but in others, they keep jacking up the prices, and they keep creating revenue opportunities that open your wallet even more often, like Beacon Barrel, for example, or the new bar going into the Grand Flow, or Lightning Lane and other products like that, while also stripping key benefits and features away. We were just talking about very recently here on That Park Place, talking about Disneyland getting rid of early entry, for example. That's a lot of labor and a big perk that people could actually use if they are actually embarking on a vacation there, staying at Disneyland Hotel or Grand Californian, for example. Big perk. Well, they got to strip that away. So it's this, like I said before, this dichotomy here that is creating a very short-term gain, long-term loss situation for the Walt Disney Company, and we simply do not see these practices being employed at Universal, for example. I think somebody actually, I think it was Wizard who made the great point that while you do have services and special events being canceled or reduced, we've heard reports that Not Scary Farm, for example, I believe they're deleting Wednesdays from the calendar, and I believe Six Flags' Haunted Experience, they're deleting Thursdays from the calendar, and you have hours being reduced at Disneyland. That's a story that we're working on right now at That Park Place. You don't see that kind of attrition. You don't see that kind of reducing of offerings and experiences at Universal. Why? Because they have a big revenue driver in the form of Epic Universe that just recently opened. They kept on the gas pedal, investing in their parks, and the market rewarded them for it. Versus Disney, they didn't really have anything to offer up as far as a new experience to attract people. So what did they do? They try to make up for that revenue loss by charging more for the customers who were there.
The bottom line, folks, they want to say that the rich people came in and saved the day. Attendance dropped, but it didn't flop in terms of revenue because rich people were doing what they needed to do to help out Disney. No, they hosed those who don't have so many resources. They hosed the middle class and gave the credit to the wealthy. Sorry, but the ultra rich, they're not eating frushi at Epcot. They're having sashimi in Tokyo, the real one. All right, folks, it's now time for you to be a real one. Click the like button, share, subscribe, click it, stick it to the algorithm as it is the notification bell. Drop a comment down below. Let us know your thoughts about this. And tell us, have you been to Disney parks recently? How much have the costs gone up for stuff that's not the admission to get in? Folks, until the next time we have the joy, the honor, the pleasure, the privilege of spending time with you, keep learning, keep growing, keep having fun, and we'll keep covering all the news that should be fun.
Jump into the water.
Why listen to music made by people and companies who really don't like you? Check out Vacation Radio today and prepare for all new content made by the people behind the WDW Pro channel. It's the place you need for all the music. That should be fun.
Want it all, so I give them cannonball. Yeah.
Hundreds of songs, every genre you can imagine. Listen live on YouTube and enjoy a set list that's always sunny. It's Vacation Radio.
Arizona. Pineapple pizza, Hawaiian ice freeze, yeah. Can't wait to be up. 3 days of you and me.
What are you waiting for? Every WDW Pro video has a link to Vacation Radio in the video description. Try it out and subscribe today.